Okay, so we've successfully completed Noveria. I guess it's safe to assume that Captain Ventralis and the rest of the survivors holed up in Rift Station made it out alive, or at least the company or somebody supplied rescue. I don't know. It's kind of weird. We don't really know how that was resolved. We just know the wreck. What are you doing up there? Huh. I've never seen that before. That's a Skyrim bug in a Mass Effect game. Huh, very weird. Okay. Kind of looks like, I don't know what it looks like. It looks like he's playing like an invisible piano or something. I mean, I know that's the motion for using the computer keyboards. But, weird. Oh, he's done now. Are you gonna... Nope. Nope, now he's using the mouse. Oh, okay, back to typing the email. Okay, got it. Alright. I've never seen anybody up on top of the computer bank like that before. That's weird. Right. So yes, presumably everyone at Rift Station was rescued or died in the neutron purge, but I can't imagine that would have been the case. I don't think that we would have... If we can survive the neutron purge coming up the elevator as it goes off, then I imagine the people in Rift Station who were further away from the hot labs would have survived the neutron purge as well. So we have to assume then the binary helix must have sent some kind of cleanup squad after the Normandy picked us up. And I'm guessing since we went back to the tram station, we must have taken the tram back to Peak 15. Maybe Joker picked us up there. Maybe we went all the way back to Hanshan. I don't know. I'm going to guess that he picked us up at Peak 15, though. I'm also going to guess that Liara has probably read the mission report, and I imagine that by this point, we were all in the debriefing together. Shepard would not have let Liara find out about her mother's death in the debriefing. He would have communicated that to her personally ahead of time. So we can assume that off-screen somewhere, our Malcolm took Liara aside, sat her down, and said, look, bad news about how the mission went. We did find your mother, and he explained, about the actual fight, and then her ability to fight off Saren's control, and then how the control took back over again, and it was only when she was near death that she was able to provide us all the help she was capable of. It seemed like she was still a good person who had just been used against her will. But that can't, as an aside, that can't really mitigate all the damage that she did. But for Liara's sake, at least, she can know that while her mother may not have been redeemed by the end, at least it's not much consolation to say your mother was violated and forced against her will to do evil things, but it's probably better than hearing that she did them voluntarily with malice, So anyway, that conversation we can assume has happened. Can we go back to... Oh, we can still go back... Where do we go back to? Presumably Hanshan. I kind of want to... This is silly, but I kind of want to try this just to see where we go. Let me just test this. Liara and Tally. I want to see where we end up going. That'll tell us where Joker picked us up. Presumably back at Hanshan.
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere. Logged. The commanding officer is ashore. Exo
Yeah,
Presley
this is
has the
Hanshan.
deck.
Okay, so we came all the way back to Hanshan then. So... Is there anything else for us to do here? I don't think that there is. Let's check the old journal here. Pharos is the next one. Missing person, strenuous system, UNC. The fan. Nope, there's nothing here. Strange transmission. Ah, yeah, biotic commune. That was something we discovered on this planet. We discovered it in Rift Station, I think, on somebody's computer. Right. Okay. We just wanted to check and see
Stand by.
where we
shore
actually
party.
ended up
Decontamination in progress.
picking back up with the Normandy.
Logged.
So,
The commanding officer
Noveria is
is
finished
aboard.
with.
Exo
Benezia is dead.
Presley
We
stands
know
relieved.
everything that she knew, or at least everything that she was capable of telling us. And we know that the Rachni, at least as far as we can tell, have been eliminated as a threat. Now, we don't necessarily know that they were a threat, but that was a risk that Shepard was just not willing to take. Let's check in with Joker, because we haven't been on the ship for a while now. Well, I guess we've actually been back for a while, because we had that conversation with Liara, and we had a debriefing, but still. First chance to check in with the helm.
Boy, am I glad to be off of Noveria.
We're not off yet.
I don't know which was worse, the cold or the corporations. One will freeze your balls off, the other will sell them out from under you. With all due respect, Commander.
Huh? I don't know why he said with all due respect. It's not like I'm going to be insulted about a corporation. Ship status report, sir.
How's the Normandy
I mean, not sir,
Is
Joker.
she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet.
Okay.
If you've got a pilot
All right,
who knows how to
so
handle her. Balance isn't
I'm
what you
just going to
expect.
get through this then.
The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
I thought that you could check in with Joker and get a status report throughout the course of the game, but apparently it's just the same canned response. Maybe it's just approaching him and initiating the dialogue that gets you the mission particular comments. Navigator Presley, how's the ship been since I've been gone?
Yes, Commander?
Okay.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, sir.
Apparently nothing to report. Alright, so we need to check in with the crew, see how everyone's doing. Especially Liara. She probably needs some TLC right about now. And that makes me think we should visit her first. Like I said, we've already had one conversation with her, but it was kind of on a formal, hey, you need to know this kind of basis. Now we're going to talk to her and try to make sure that she's okay. She's had some time to process now. Make sure that Ashley didn't piss her off. You know, I don't think Dr. Chakwas has anything to
Yes,
say.
Commander? Is there something you need?
No,
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
just going to see Dr. Sony. There's always this little awkward approach and stand-up thing every time.
If you are here to talk about Benezia's death, you need not bother. She brought it upon herself.
Yes, but also no. You don't feel bad about it?
Don't pretend it doesn't bother you. She was your mother.
Oh, Shepard's using
She
his
was.
soft voice.
But she was not. I prefer to remember Benezia as she used to be, before she was corrupted by Sovereign's power.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to think of it. She's still with you? I don't think I'd go so far as to say that. That seems like something a little too personal. Like, Shepard wouldn't know whether that was an appropriate thing to say to Liara, whether she was that close to her mother or not. We can say it's Saren's fault, though, because it is.
I blame Saren. And if I were you, I'd want revenge.
Oh, stop
We
with
have
the
enough reason to
bloodthirsty
stop Saren.
sounds.
I do not need to add revenge to the list. Benezia chose her path, just as I have chosen mine. I am with you until the end, Shepard.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have mentioned the revenge thing. I wish that Renegade wasn't equivalent to asshole. I wish you could make bold declarative statements through the Renegade thing, or take decisive cutthroat action without being a complete dick to everybody about it. But unfortunately, that's kind of how they handled it for these games. Just checking in. You know, you experienced something traumatic, and I just want to see how you're holding up.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
To Pem, that sounds interesting, because that's what I went to school to do. I don't do it myself in my career, but That's what I was educated to do. So I would think that sounds pretty cool. Shepard would probably be like, oh, very different from Alliance work. Do you like it?
You must enjoy something about it.
I love my work. Seeking out history's lost secrets has a special appeal for me. You were actually touched by working Prothean technology. That is why I find you so fascinating, Commander.
Huh? I'm like an artifact? Fascinating as if I was just an object, huh?
Sounds like you want to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No, I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepard. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Yeah, don't worry, I wasn't serious.
Calm down, Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool. Now you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Hey, don't worry, girl. It's only embarrassing if you act embarrassed about it. Alright, well, it seems like you're doing okay. You seem to have detached the loss of Benezia from the horrible nature of her last part of her life, I suppose. So that seems good. Seems like you're moving on successfully. We should probably just put it aside till some other time.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Codex? What did I get a codex entry for? Maybe about Prothean ruins. Let's check in with Monsieur Alenko. Such a strange.
Anything you need, Commander?
But they just every time that you get that same approach, it just seems off. Anything we need? What's your opinion on the last mission?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Haha, I knew it.
Killing Saren's, what was Benezia anyway? Second in command? Advisor? Anyway, it should set him back a bit. I'm sure Dr. Tassoni's hurting, though. Poor kid.
What do you think about the decision on the Rachni?
Any opinion on the Rachni?
Off the record?
Sure.
If we had the option, I'd as soon have left it to the Council. We weren't out here during the Rachni War. I'm not sure we have any business getting involved.
Anything you want to talk about personal?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at.
Where the crew's at.
Thoughts?
Well, they know about the stonewalling you've had from the Council.
I see.
And what do they think?
They're on your side. They're pissed about the resistance we're getting, especially from our side. I'll have a better handle on all of it when my head stops hurting. Another L2 flare-up.
You alright?
Anything I can do?
No, Commander, it'll settle down. It's rough sometimes, but they spike higher than a lot of L3s. Except for you, of course. Besides, I fared a lot better than some after Kinetics was through.
Let's hear about it.
Got a story there, Alenko?
You know the records about the biotic trading out on Jump Zero? They're all classified. Because the Alliance made mistakes. After first contact, Kinetics was set up to track Element Zero exposures and develop implants for humans. Once we had an embassy on the Citadel, Kinetics could bring in experts instead of taking it slow.
Experts?
The only experts would have to be aliens.
Dead on. Turians, actually. That's why Kinetics kept it a secret. They were afraid of what people back home would think, asking the Turians for help when we just fought a war with them.
Why the Aturians and not anybody else?
The Asari would have been more acceptable than the Turians.
Yes, but the company didn't go through the Citadel. It would have made Earth look weak, so they discreetly hired some Turian mercenaries.
Wait a minute. So they didn't want Turians because people would be upset, but they didn't want Asari because they'd have to go through the Council. People would be upset. So they just went with the Turians and did it secretly? That's just weird. Okay. I think I understand why we would want expert help. I don't think I need to ask why we couldn't do it alone. And I don't know that I'd say I'm sure they meant well. As much as Shepard is an Alliance company man, you know, he's been with it pretty much his whole adult life. In fact, he has been with it his whole adult life. He's not so jingoistic as to think that the Alliance does nothing wrong, you know. So he could very easily see how the Alliance might cut some corners or take on some risk for the furtherance, I think that's the word, furtherance of military goals. Some people get kind of ground up in the machine. Do what you have to do. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not going to be that mercenary about it. Let's just say, ask who his teacher was, I guess.
Get your knuckles rapped a few times, Lieutenant?
Yeah, you could say that. Our instructor was a Turian by the name of Commander Vernus. A real hard-ass. He basically had a free pass to break us if it would turn out a decent biotic. Kind of spiraled from there, Commander.
Ever any recrimination?
Did he ever face charges for that?
He got his, yeah. But like everything else at Jump Zero, it was under the table. The less said, the better. Anyway, this is ancient stuff. I walked it off a long time ago. I should get back to my duties, Commander. We're here to make history, not rehash it.
Okay, well, don't feel like you can't talk about it, Caden.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
Commander. Downstairs, I suppose. Downstairs. Down elevator. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh. Yes? Right. Well, let's talk to the two men who are on the mission first, see how they feel about it. I imagine Wrex will be pleased with our decision about the Arachni. Garrus will probably not be upset about it, but he will probably wish that we would have been more cautious. But we'll see. I could be surprised.
What do you want, Shepard?
Just checking how you're doing after the mission.
Why did you become a mercenary?
Or not.
Lots of reasons.
Okay. Can you be more specific?
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
Kind of funny at this point I could just say, alright, see you later. Why'd you need to get out of the system?
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
Really?
What happened?
I was betrayed.
No.
I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas.
Like eating Subway for a diet.
War. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
And so your position was?
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up. To stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, the genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
Let me guess, Jared didn't.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes. A meeting on neutral ground.
Like the high school gym.
He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors.
Okay, graveyard.
The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from, where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
You're setting this up for something pretty nasty. So you went, thinking that everything was going to be okay.
It sounds like a trap to me.
Yeah.
You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, There are some laws that even we hold
Your
sacred.
father?
Jared was your father?
He was. Until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest.
Christ, man.
That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
That is a fucked up family life, dude.
You must have family other than your father. Don't you miss them?
You trying to make me cry, Shepard?
Is that possible?
I've got some unfinished business with my family, but that's all.
Well, let's hear about it.
What kind of business?
Before I left, I made an oath to my father's father.
Grandpa. Grandpa
I
Wrex.
swore
Grandpa
to recover
Erdnot, I
my
guess.
family's battle armor. It was taken from him after the uprising.
Whoa. That sounds awesome. Tell me about it.
What's so important about this armor?
It's a relic. Useless, really. But it was worn by 5 generations of my family before the war. It's rightfully mine. Originally, it was taken by the Turian military. We weren't allowed armor or weapons after the war.
Seriously? In addition to the genophage,
Now, it's in the
they
hands
took everything?
of Ton Actus, a Turian scum who collects relics from the war. He's made millions selling Krogan artifacts that were stolen from my people. He's got several bases where he stores his goods, all fortified and guarded. I just don't know which base has my family's armor.
I can keep an eye out for it. We're going to be all over the galaxy, man. Who knows?
Just tell me where to start looking.
I'll upload the data to your nav system. But Commander, I want to be there when you find him.
Good.
So long, Wrex.
Shepard.
Nice. That's cool. Oh, Ash. Yeah, we'll talk to Ash in a second. Let's talk to Garrus first. It's always hard at work, is Garrus.
Commander, good to see you.
You too, Garrus. Personal questions?
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
Like what?
I'll bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
How so?
What happened? Why were you investigating them?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
Ugh.
So what was it?
Both, actually. But it took us a while to figure that out.
What'd you find?
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development. But there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage.
Wouldn't that get rid of
It
their
doesn't
sperm,
work,
though?
But that doesn't stop them
Yeah.
from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
Alright, so get back to the doctor then.
What did you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
What was it?
Yeah? Go on.
one of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up, and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
How would that even work?
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
So you eventually got him, right?
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
What?
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
Sounds like you probably should have just stopped him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. We just used them to make more organs.
Yeah.
They wouldn't listen.
I could see, the hostages, forget about them. I mean, not in a cold sort of way, but you're probably actually maybe putting them out of their misery by ending their lives. But even that aside, the death of a few hostages to get this asshole who would definitely be doing damage to more people if he escapes, that seems like a pretty easy calculation to make. I would say, though, that they may have had a point with the Citadel casualties if the ship crashed into a ward or something. That may have been a valid reason to not fire. But still, I'm gonna agree with Garrus. They should have done more to try to catch this guy, because now who knows where he is and what he's doing and how many people he's doing it to.
No wonder you hated it there. Those idiots just let him fly away.
Yes, they did. I went to Palin and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
You're right. I agree with you 100%, Garrus.
A few casualties is a small price to pay to stop someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those hostages might be wishing they'd died by now anyway. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
So do you know anything about where he went?
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salion?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
What the hell, dude? You're on a ship. We can go anywhere, do anything. Give it to me.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
You should have brought it up sooner,
I was
even.
hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
I appreciate that we're starting to get into the party missions, but and I think this is a feature maybe in the second and third game, not so much in the first game. I think maybe I misremembered that it was a feature in the first game, but I thought that you could talk to the party members about the previous mission. And so far, the only person that's really said anything about it was Liara, because it was her mom that died. And Caden making a throwaway line about how he thought Liara must be having a tough time. Nobody, I figured Garrus was there, Wrex was there, maybe there was some specific dialogue that they would have about the decision on the Rachni, but no. I mean, that's fine. This was, the first game, and for lack of a better descriptor, it was also the simplest game. I know that's not exactly true, but I think the dialogue got more nuanced, more specific later on. The second and third games, I think, were better in that regard. But still, very cool. I like the stories behind with these 2 missions at least. I think Caden's mission was also set up too. But Wrex's and Garrus's sound very interesting. Ash?